Welcome to River Talk. Today is the 22nd of March. Today we are joined by Ashlyn, Nick, I'll be your moderator today, Zach, and Trey, as well as Colin. So today's topic is going to be covering Trump's new budget plan, which it encompasses $1.5 trillion. And the thing that really seems to be commonly said is, without safety, there can be no prosperity. That's a quote said by Donald Trump. And so a lot of it is redirecting money from domestic programs to, say, the defense budget, the military, and ICE, all sorts of stuff like that. So first of all, I want a general take on both sides, I guess, on getting rid of money that goes to things like Health and Human Services, or like the Health Institute that researches cancer cures, breast cancer cures, stuff like that. I just want to get your takes real quick on that.
Well, first, I just want to say that this is no surprise. He was promising stuff like this all throughout the campaign. I think this is one of the things that he's very much so delivering on. So I mean, when people are completely shocked out of their minds, I have.
Well, I'm not, but I mean.
No, I know. But I'm just saying, it's one of the many things he promised throughout the campaign.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
But I feel like a lot of people expected him to say it and then not have it happen, because I've heard from a lot of people who are like, oh, he's not going to actually do it. They're like, oh, well, turns out he is. They didn't think.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's strange that a politician keeps their promises for once.
Yeah, I was about to say that's probably what people are used to, is not making good on their most keyword.
Just 2 months in, got plenty of time left.
Oh yeah,
Plenty.
8 years.
Certainly not draining the swamp.
No, it's not repealing and replacing Obamacare either, but
Paul Ryan.
there's time for that.
I mean, the American Health Care Act is very
Flawed.
interesting and flawed. As he said, bill.
It's got,
But if we have time, we'll make sure to get to that today. But
So the budget,
So the first major thing that's going to see a big boost, 10% increase, is military spending. So as we already know, the United States outspends the next 10 countries combined when it comes to military budgeting.
Right.
And so what is necessarily the purpose to try and increase the military budget when there's not really a need for it? I mean, we don't plan going to war with China or Russia anytime soon. I mean, if anything, this money might be focused to combat ISIS, but of course we have a military that's completely capable of getting rid of ISIS should they somehow be able to attack.
Right. And I think part of that is, part of the idea behind that is having such a powerful military so that you don't have to use it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Peace through strength is what he talked about a lot during the campaign.
And I think on the more pragmatic side, I mean, the black hole in the Middle East and other parts of the world, it is only getting bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have that many more battles to fight, I mean, I think whether or not the 10% increase is entirely necessary, I don't know. But I mean, again, have great power so you don't have to use it.
And certainly after the sequester, some money is needed to go back to defense. How much that is, whether it's like the 54 billion or whatever they asked for, or whatever number it is, that's up for debate, obviously. But I'm pretty confident that defense does need a little more funding.
Now, like what I said earlier, without safety there can be no prosperity, but if you focus on safety all the time, is there necessarily going to be anything left to protect? Because we're making massive cuts in so many public programs that people use, like school programs, after school programs for moms might work late, or parents that both work late, they tend to let them stay at the school for whatever after school program that might be. That's seeing a $1.2 billion cut. So I guess my question is, why are we taking money away from programs that seem necessary for a lot of people and redistributing it for military purposes?
Because for the most part, that's what everybody cares about. I mean, it's a sad truth that, as much as I want to just go at them for cutting all of these agencies and all these, all the funding, not all, but a chunk of funding for all of these different agencies. The fact of the matter is we do need to strengthen our military, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt this time, because of the fact that he, like you said, he has only been in office for 2 months. But given the track record and all of our affairs in the Middle East, it hasn't really worked out well. So, and until we figure out whether or not this is gonna take flight or fail, I mean, I can't really say anything negative, but like he was saying, what is there gonna be left to protect? I mean, we're becoming our own worst enemy here, especially with the big cuts to the EPA. Now, I know we've talked about this before, and I'm not saying that
Do you want me to
nothing
give-
needs to be done with
Do
the
you want me to give some statistics about the EPA really quick? or-
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so EPA right now is expected to get, 31% cut in their budget. So these are really some of the things that are going to be affecting. So 32,000 or 3,200 people are going to be expected to lose their job because of the cut. The Great Lakes Restoration Program, which is responsible for a lot of the fresh water that we get in the United States, that program is considered to be abandoned due to the $11 million cut that was given to that program.
And like the fresh water that they have in Flint right now?
Well, this is just the restoration.
Well, yeah,
That's a
from the
great,
Great
that's a great
Lakes.
example of why we're our own worst enemy. And
Yeah.
I mean, we can cut 31% of EPA's budget. I mean, given the fact that they do need a major overhaul, but we can't ignore the reality that we
Well,
have.
after that overhaul, they're not gonna need that much money, because the overhaul that's necessary for them is gonna make them have a lot less duties, so they won't be needing that large amount of money anymore.
But that overhaul's not gonna happen,
But,
especially with, I mean,
Overhauls happen when you take away their money, they won't be able to do all that stuff. It's one and the same, frankly.
hopefully that happens.
So like,
It has.
having, like money to enforce, let's say, like clean water bills or that are passed in several states, they are not gonna be capable to do that. Or like, for instance, restoring the Great Lakes so that there's actually, fresh water for us to drink in our houses. Or, another thing they're getting rid of is the Clean Power Plan, which asks a lot of the industrial and manufacturing companies to basically, watch how much they're polluting, stuff like that. Maybe try and find cleaner ways to get rid of your, carbon dioxide, whatever it might be. That's just another aspect, like that's being completely eliminated. So I mean, we're taking a stance that is against the planet almost. When you're just cutting programs and an agency that enforces, things that everybody needs, like, water, clean air. Like, we don't want to end up like China, do we? Where, there's just rampant unregulation everywhere.
So yeah, this is the one that matters most, like the I care most about is the EPA, because the environment, that is a major thing that affects everyone, not just here, that affects the world. If we can't take care of it, and, it talks about losing funding for climate change research, and agree with it or not, a lot of the people who don't agree with it say, we need to find out more information before we take a stand. Well, we can't find it out if we can't fund any research. And then, water, that is something that realistically, most of the water on the planet, people can't drink. So you need to make sure that what you can is protected. And so I think this is definitely one place where I don't agree with cutting it this much. Like, this is a
Right.
huge cut.
And I don't necessarily agree with cutting it that much either. The parts of the budget cuts that I particularly like are things like PBS that don't seem to have had nearly as big a use in today's culture as they did when they were. I mean, everybody's got smartphones and access to the internet now. The PBS is such an irrelevant thing that it's a waste of taxpayer money, in my opinion.
Well, it's a little hard to do a lot with PBS, when your budget only makes up like 0.02% of the federal budget. A lot of their funding doesn't actually come from the U.S. government. A lot of it comes from,
Grants.
companies or or foundations,
Viewers
whatever it might
like
be. Viewers like me, yeah,
Right. But that's what
Well,
I'm saying.
like, and keep it afloat with that, because frankly, it's a waste of federal money to entertain like 5-year-olds.
Yeah, I mean, like, and even if PBS goes under, I mean, you think a different private company's not going to pick up Sesame Street?
Yeah, those
I
are
mean,
icons in
those
their
are
children's
closer.
entertainment.
Yeah,
I
but
think
PBS
Sesame Street isn't on HBO. I think it's on
Mhm.
HBO.
Maybe it's also, if you think about it, it does more than just like kids shows, because like that's what I think of too.
A nightly news program that 5 old people watch.
But I know, like in my classes throughout school, we've watched a lot of like their movies and stuff because they tend to like the history movies and whatnot. So there is more than just kid shows. Like I feel like.
But I mean, as much as I'd love to defend that, he does have a point.
Well, yeah.
It can be, I mean, like National Geographic.
Well, yeah, I'm saying
That's
I'm
a
not
private company.
saying either
Yeah.
way. I'm just saying like there is more than kid shows because they seem
Right,
to focus
yeah.
on that.
And
I'd
you're
like to see that have maybe take under their wing or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, they're kept afloat with enough grants and viewers like you, as it is, like you pointed out. So, I mean, why throw taxpayer dollars at it when we can throw it at something more useful?
An argument that could be made, though, if, you know, a company, you know, with its own agenda might be able to use the network to get its own message across rather than actually, you know, using facts, whatever, you know, program or documentary they might put on their network. That's just one concern with that being
Well, of
mostly
course.
privately funded.
But that's where the market comes in, because if the people don't like that, they won't watch it, they'll have to change. But if people do like it, then the company will do whatever they want, because they gotta make their people happy. Like the viewers like you and, you know, the people who give them grants and such. So ultimately, that's not a problem then, pushing an agenda, if you ask me anyway.
And that's enough of PBS, that's such a small fraction of
Every penny
what's being
counts.
cut, you know. What's next?
The VAs,
All right, welcome back. When we last left off, I think our friend Nick here was talking about the Veterans Affairs Agency. If you want to pick up where you left off.
yeah, I was saying that that's one of the few agencies that's to the government that's getting an increase. And I guess from my point of view, it's long overdue for an increase because we need to take care of our veterans.
Absolutely.
As much money,
Common sense.
I think we should put more, we should take money from the increase in the defense budget and put even more money in the VA because,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I do for a living is I work for a private company that has a federal contract with the VA. And I'm part of the process that gets veterans their benefits. And all too often we're behind in our work, you know, it's that people are getting denied for no valid reason, pretty much, just because of the sheer amount of funding and this has to do that. And I see it all the time that these people, you know, they fought in World War II or they fought in Vietnam and lived with, you know, with these disabilities, couldn't work and do all that stuff for years and years and years and years, and then they died in the 80s or 90s. And then all of a sudden, especially with the Veterans Claim Assistance Act in 2000, it added a bunch of diseases and disabilities that now it's useless to those veterans because they couldn't work. And now, if they were disabled now, they would get money for it. But I feel like someone who's out there fighting for our country shouldn't be making less than minimum wage or God knows what.
Precisely.
And someone who's throwing a football on TV makes millions of dollars.
And kneels
Obviously,
during-
I know
and
that
kneels
that's
during the national anthem.
privately funded, and we can't afford
That's-
to pay,
yeah.
you know, a soldier $100,000 to $200,000. But I mean,
And
they,
it's unfortunate that it's been an issue on both sides of the aisle that both sides have kind of ignored. I mean, so abruptly.
With the exception of Donald.
Right, but like I mean, you know, I talk a lot about like limited government, and I think that things like Medicaid or different welfare programs have a lot of overfunding. But like I mean, like you just said, people that are going out risking their lives so that all of us can do this right
they
now
have
and
to
talk
fight for our
about it.
country, and
Right.
you know.
Honestly, there's a lot of things. in
Actually, I
life.
think under the plan that he has for the increase in the military budget, a lot of people who are serving in the Middle East right now are expected to get a pay raise from that, the movement of money to the
It's fantastic.
military budget. So just a small thing there we're
Yeah.
concerned about.
But no, like,
At least those in harm's way are being underpaid or anything.
like, there's a lot in here I do not agree with, but that's one of the few things, like, where I really do think that's like a smart decision, because they are veterans, they serve. My great-grandfather served World War II, and my grandfather served in Vietnam, so like, you know, I can like understand this. These people serve, they deserve to have, you know.
Especially, that's a lot of, it's called Agent Orange. I don't know if you're
Yeah. Oh,
familiar
yeah.
with that, Vietnam.
Yeah.
Chemical
parts.
warfare.
Yeah.
I see a lot of that.
Because they have, like, my mom's grandfather, he was shot in World War II and paralyzed partially. You know, that is something, you know, he couldn't work, you need that help. And these men and women are risking everything to help, you know, our country, to serve our country. They deserve that. You know, they do deserve to be taken care of. If you're willing to risk your life, yes, we should take care of them. I have to agree, like, I think this is one thing that we all seem to be.
And, you know, I think it's not a problem whether the American people, you know, disagree or agree. I mean, we can all wholeheartedly agree on that. It's more of whether, you know, politicians actually have any political will to do it.
Which, I mean, is happening now.
Exactly.
Maybe not as big of a scale as it needs to, or, I mean, I guess as the budget allows, but it's going
It's
out.
a start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a cut, so that's all that matters.
Yeah.
I thought this was interesting. Subsidies for rural airports will be eliminated, which I thought was interesting.
What all does that entail?
It's basically saying, so like, you know how I don't know if this one will be affected, but like, say a small airport like the one we have out here.
Is Moline?
No, it's not Moline,
The
it's this
Clinton
little like,
Municipal Airport.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
like small, like rural airports like that wouldn't receive subsidies, so like, you know, those would be, well, basically eliminated pretty much. So like, you know, someone who lives in rural, you know, Illinois that has an airport close by, they basically, I don't know, have to go to like Chicago now if they want to take a flight.
Well, a rural airport would probably just be for like crop dusters and
And an
such.
opinion on that, I mean, like, especially like, I don't know if Moline's such, I mean, that's.
Moline's a very like tiny, compact airport.
I mean, that, and then like.
We'll still take you
Up
forward.
in Dubuque, I know, I mean, but the fact of the matter is, most of those flights go from Moline to Chicago. And, I mean, and it's
That's
a
like an
big,
hour
it's a
drive.
big chunk of change.
What's the point? It's like an hour
Exactly,
drive.
exactly, it's $400 extra just to have a plane change or a stop in Chicago. And honestly, I mean, this is just speaking from opinion, but the people that are taking that close flight, because I've never flown out of any airport besides a big city like Chicago, because I can't afford it. I mean, it's like, what I can't afford is to drive to Chicago, because it
Mhm.
honestly doesn't take that much. I have an iPass, it's less than $30 between the tank of gas and
Mhm.
half the tolls. But the fact of the matter is, honestly, I don't think that matters too much, because the people that are flying out of those airports can afford to drive to the next one.
This is also speaking of airports, airline tickets are expected to go up by $1
Oh, no.
by taxation. Just a little other
Oh,
small detail.
that's great. Taxation is theft. That's terrific. That's terrific. I didn't even plan that. That's terrific.
Well, I wish I had some snarky on my
Taxes
shirt.
that
That is
pay
a
for your
Columbia.
road is theft, yeah. I have a,
Island City days.
but, another
Very
small
fun, you
thing-
should go up there.
I don't even
Another
know
thing
what's
that is going to be eliminated, under Obama, he had this thing called the Tiger Grant, which is basically, it would give companies a grant to actually work on the infrastructure of the United States, mainly highways.
Mhm.
That's, it's another infrastructure.
Yeah,
Yeah, but then we're throwing a
project.
trillion at it, so that's pretty irrelevant, so.
What?
We're throwing a trillion at infrastructure, so one little grant, that's.
I'll believe it when I see it.
That's a,
How much is in?
that's a little fish in the pond.
$500 million.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, either way, it's going towards infrastructure. So
Say
if
it's
you take
for
money
me.
away from that and put it back into infrastructure, it's just,
Yeah, it's-
that's like, we're working on the highway and they cutting all our pay and giving it more to you, it's still gonna get done. I mean,
And this, I thought this was very interesting, so this budget right now is only $1.15 trillion. The US, like, federal budget is $4 trillion, so I'm curious
Yeah.
where the rest of that money is gonna be used.
Probably Russia.
Yeah, probably finding Russian hackers.
Yeah,
and
probably
wiretapping.
hacking the next election.
Whether,
Democrats.
Russia. I've been hearing so much about
make a
Russia.
better door than you, or a door. No, never mind.
Door?
I meant to
Wait,
say
with a
wall.
big beautiful door and our big beautiful wall?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm okay with
Not
a $3
afraid.
trillion door, if that's what it takes.
No one does.
$3 trillion door.
All right, what we did here was just, you know, a rough overlook of the budget. There's obviously a lot of things we didn't get to, but these are some of the things that people seem to have a concern with. So with that, we're gonna leave it right here for you. Thanks for watching. See you next time.